This is your sports TV station in Lorain, WLCS TV 20.
And welcome to Division I, the sectional wrestling as we get set. The second season for wrestling. 3 weeks from now, we'll be crowning state champions. That journey begins today in Division I from Lorain High School. With the former coach Bob Tomaszewski, I'm Rob Polinsky, and coach Division I sectional wrestling at Lorain. Lorain Titans are here, one of 11 teams, hoping to get as many kids to advance to the Ashland District as possible.
That's absolutely the fact here. And one other thing, there will be a lot of state champs coming out of here because St. Ed's is here, and they'll probably, it's a tradition, they get all their kids out. So in effect, you only have 3 other spots to go. On top of that, Rob, this year, for whatever reason, the 2 nearest schools to Lorain, Amherst and Elyria, are going to Toledo, and the one addition is Avon, which has gone to Division I. So the dynamics of this tournament has changed a little bit, but you know, that's the way it is.
All right, and Billy Kopp is hoping to get as many Titans as he can to Ashland next week. We're just about set for wrestling. We'll have it for you on WLCS TV 20. That's coming up next.
The Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America has important information for the millions of people with asthma. You may not know there are 2 main causes of asthma symptoms: airway constriction you feel and inflammation you may not feel. Learn how to better manage your asthma by treating both main causes of asthma symptoms. Treating both causes can help prevent symptoms before they even start. And preventing symptoms could mean a smoother ride. For more information, go to asthma.com.
And our first match of the evening will occur at 106 pounds. Dominic Diaz of Lorain against Alec Koff from Midview, Tomo.
That's right. Dominic's had a good year, Rob. He's 27-8 and would be favored, and there it is. Right out of the box, he's got himself a takedown.
Diaz, a defending state champ, won it last year here. And you mentioned 27-8. Koloff got here by defeating Alex Shermack of Avon in the opening round.
That's right.
All of the Lorain wrestlers received a first-round bye, so they are all into the second round.
Quarterfinals, and the trick is to survive the tournament. You want to get to next week, and then next week you want to get to the state tournament. So, you know, there's a couple of ways of looking at it. You know, you got to go after the quick pin if you can, but you also want to get yourself in tournament shape. You know, you're going to have to wrestle a few times. So that's part we got a half now, so we got him going here.
Yeah, Diaz is close to putting Koloff on his back. Getting very close to a first period pin here. Koloff in real trouble. Diaz has him in tight there. Under a minute to go in the first period.
Well, Koloff, to his credit, rolled out of there. You know, sometimes that 20 seconds can seem like an eternity.
3 points for Diaz, and he leads 5-0, Bob, with 40 seconds to go in the first period.
There you go. And Dominic in complete control here. Just doing his thing.
Boy, and he immediately was very aggressive with Koloff at the very beginning of this match.
Well, I'll tell you, if you're pensive in this sport, you're not going to win. It's just not going to happen.
For the most points, don't the most aggressive kids do the best? I mean, I know you can always get caught in a move, but 99%
of the time, you're absolutely correct. Well, really though, in any sport, if you're going to lay back, you're not going to be, you're not going to be real good. Well, I won't shoot this 3.
Right.
I'll just, no. If it's there, you got to take the shot.
Diaz up 8-0 with 19 seconds to go in period number 1. Dominic trying to advance to tomorrow's semifinal round if he can get a win here at 106.
And again, we were talking earlier, they're down to 11 schools here because for some unknown reason, 2 local powerhouses, Amherst and Elyria, are going to Toledo for a sectional. I don't know how you could call that a sectional. And Avon, who's an up-and-coming school, went to Division I. They're here. So they actually lost 1 school, and so that's why you have even more buys than you normally have.
So you take the top 4 wrestlers in each weight class to advance to the districts.
Correct.
And Diaz will start the second period on bottom, Koloff on top. Diaz up 8-0 as we begin the second period. Diaz from Lorain High School in the gray, Koloff in the dark singlet from Midview.
And, of course, you have St. Edwards here, who's perennial state champs.
Yeah.
And that's great, but instead of having 4 advance, everybody else only gets 3.
Yeah, you're fighting for 3 spots,
so
absolutely.
There you go.
So it's 9-0 as Diaz gets the immediate escape. Both wrestlers on their feet. The start of the second period. Diaz looks like he's looking for the opening. Out in front, 9-0. But no matter how big your lead is, Bob, you always have to be careful because one bad move and you get put on your back.
That's right.
It can change it in a hurry.
And there's 2 more, and that's the beauty of wrestling. The 2 kids are identical in size, so, you know, you don't have to be the strongest guy in the world because everything's kind of equaled out.
11-0 Diaz with the lead as they come back to the center of the mat. Joe Bach doing the camera work and the directing tonight. Rob Polinsky, Bob Tomaszewski from a Lorain Division I sectional. The opening rounds tonight, the semifinals and the championships are tomorrow.
The sectional's been in Lorain for the last umpteen years. Was at Southview for a long time.
Yep. And again, it's a 3-step process to get to Value City Arena in Columbus in 2 weeks. You have the sectional, then the districts, then the state.
No regional tournaments in wrestling.
Diaz still out in front, 11-0, trying to get Koff over to his back, but Koff staying on his base there. 40 seconds to go in period number 2. This is 106 pounds.
And in wrestling, as in most sports in Ohio, there are 3 divisions. And this is the big division, the biggest, you know.
Yep. And we'll tell you about all the competing schools throughout the evening. Glad you could join us for high school wrestling on WLCS TV 20. They go off to the side of the mat with 22 seconds to go in period number 2. Diaz of Lorain out in front, 11-0 over Koff of Midview High School. But Diaz has been in control of this one from the get-go, Bob.
Yes, he has. Well, he's a seasoned veteran. You know, he's been there, done it.
It's a senior wrestling against a sophomore.
Correct.
A lot of times with these lower weights, the older kids have to move up. I mean, a lot of times it's freshmen and sophomore at this weight class, like Koff would be, but Diaz has been able to maintain his weight as a senior.
Kind of small in stature to begin with, and
now we're going to begin period number 3 with both wrestlers on their feet. 11-0 Diaz with the lead. Diaz shoots
just a great quickness. Huh? I mean, he's in there.
Gets the single leg. They still haven't awarded points yet. Now he gets the 2 points for the takedown, and it looks like he's got a pinning combination here against Koff. Diaz has it locked in. Going for the pin.
This could be it, though, with a technical fall if he doesn't get the pin.
30 seconds into period number 3. Koff trying to survive, and I think we're going to get the back points here, and this should do it, Bob. There it is. Diaz out in front, 16-0.
Technical fall.
That is a technical fall, and that is team points for Lorain. That would be.
Well, it's going to be, I think you get 6 or 8, depending if there's pins in there. You get them at the end of the match or the end of the tournament, but you get. There's extra advancement points because of the technical fall.
Right.
Yes.
So Diaz gets the win 16-0, and that puts Dominic Diaz of Lorain into the semifinals. You get a look at Dominic right there as he goes to the head scorers table, and a good look at the senior as he will advance to tomorrow's semifinal round.
Now our next match should be down here on mat number 3, and it's going to be Michael Kopp against Andrew Sprung?
Yep, from Westlake.
From Westlake.
Kopp comes in at 20-17, a sophomore. Spring out of Westlake is a senior with a record of 23-15. So record-wise, this looks like a pretty competitive match that we're going to have.
Yes, indeed.
At 113 pounds, Bob. And Michael Kopp, son of Lorain head wrestling coach Billy Kopp.
That's it.
And we're underway wrestling at mat number 3 here at Lorain High School. Good eyes, Bob, that you caught that right away.
And the really good thing if you're a wrestler, you know, win that first one, well, they get buys. Win the second one, you're done for the night.
Yeah.
You don't have to wrestle back because it is a double elimination tournament. So we got some back points coming here.
Yeah, Kopp with the 2-point takedown, and now immediately going for back points. You see him right across the face of Spring as they're close to being out of bounds. Kopp trying to drag him back from that end line, and Spring trying to slide out. He does. And Michael Kopp immediately with the early lead, Bob.
Yes. Coach Kopp going to check on the score, I think. Make sure he wants to know if he got a count started, probably. And he didn't. So it's 2-0.
I don't think Billy liked that explanation.
Well, it was just kind of a shake your head, you know. Really, you could say, no, Coach, there was no back points. And
Bob, I know you coached your sons in football. Did
yes.
either one of your boys wrestle? Did you ever have an opportunity?
Well, they wrestled when they were younger. And Matthew was not too bad, but Jay was a basketball player. Okay. That's all I'm going to say.
I guess I didn't know if you had the opportunity to do what Billy's doing right now.
Well, I did when they were, you know, like in little independent tournaments and that, and it was fun. It was fun.
Under a minute to go in the first period. Michael Kopp out in front, 2-0. He's wrestling Spring from Westlake High School. Spring is a senior, Kopp a sophomore. Lorain trying to go 2 for 2 in the early going here.
Westlake, a member of the Southwest Conference, which is a very, very good wrestling conference.
And that's where I would think Lorain being in the Lake Erie League, I would imagine it's not as strong. And
no, but
so that's why they wrestle a lot of outside tournaments.
Exactly right. Billy knows. He knows what you got to do. You know, you don't get better by wrestling. You know, the Sisters of the Poor. You gotta have tough competition, or you know. And he does. They wrestle a terrific schedule.
Kopp on top, 2-0. 20 seconds to go in period number 1. This is 113 pounds. We're down to 10 seconds to go into period. And it is warm in this gymnasium, Bob. Does that affect the wrestlers at all?
Well, you don't want it chilly because you do want them limbered up, but you know what?
It's got to take a little.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It has to.
It's like wrestling in a sauna. You know, would that be good? No, it would not.
I mean, it is warm, and obviously we've had the unseasonably warm temperatures of late, and
the other thing,
sunshine today.
The other thing, Rob, you only have 2 locker rooms, and you got all these kids, so they divide up the locker rooms, and it gets a little gamey in there at times.
Start of the second period, both the wrestlers on their feet. Kopp against Spring. Neither wrestler with an advantage right now. Joe Bach doing a good camera work here on mat number 3, and they come to a stalemate. The referee will bring them back to the center of the mat. So a stalemate when neither wrestler has an advantage. You
can't improve, so start them over again. Now here's one thing that Westlake is notorious for. You watch when they start over, they always step out of that big circle. They always work the edge, which technically you're not supposed to, but look at this. Oh,
Kopp close to getting 2 points, and no, they stop it. He went out of bounds.
All right, they're neutral. Now watch when they start, the Westlake kid, and they're coached to do it because every one of them does, he will end up outside of that circle. There it is. So if something bad happens, it's an easy escape to get out of bounds and get another start.
Would they have to worry about
you could get called?
Obvious for stalling?
Yep, you could get called. But the thing to do is to break away and get back in the middle. Up, there's 2 points.
There's 2 points for Spring. He ties this match at 2 as we are exactly halfway through the second period and halfway through this match. We thought record-wise this was an even matchup, and it appears to be so far. Kopp in trouble. He's on his back trying to roll through it, and it appears he'll do so. And Spring from Westlake will get some points. And Spring takes his first lead of the match, Bob, at 4-2. And once again, head coach Billy Kopp wants to have a conversation with the referee.
I think he's looking for maybe at least an escape there at the end.
Now, Billy Kopp talking with the Westlake coach as they go by.
And both of them are just shaking their heads.
I'm assuming they had 2 different points of view.
I'm thinking.
Spring on top, 4-2. 35 seconds to go in the second period. Michael Kopp trying to come from behind. And Spring had Kopp on his back, but not long enough for any back points. Well, he did.
Oh, boy.
And now it's 6-2. As Spring has taken control, Bob, with 10 seconds to go in the second period. Coming back from trailing 2-0 to take a 6-2 lead is senior Andrew Spring out of Westlake High School.
And you can see Spring, Rob, is getting more confident as the match goes on.
And now we will head to the third period. Both these wrestlers had first-round byes to get to this point. In the quarterfinals, the winner will advance to tomorrow's semis. The loser goes to the consolation round. Both wrestlers on their feet. Kopp trails 6-2.
Kopp needs a big move. He needs a takedown and back points. And he's not going to get it all tied up like that.
And Spring gets 2 more points and takes an 8-2 lead, and now Michael Kopp in real trouble with 1:25 to go in the match. And it looks like Spring has gotten stronger as the match has gone on.
Yes, exactly.
Kopp looks a little tired from my perspective.
For sure, for sure.
Again, Spring is on top, literally and figuratively, leading 8-2, and he's the young man in green. Kopp in gray on the bottom. 1 minute to go in the match. Kopp trails 8-2. As he tries to fight through, Kopp is going to get the escape, I believe. And he's trying to get the 2-point reversal.
He's just burning time here.
Yeah.
Westlake's loving this. You know, you just hang on and.
And look, I think the headgear from Michael has come over his eyes.
Yeah,
he's having a hard time seeing. Under 30 seconds to go in the match.
It's going to run out of time.
Still trailing 8-2. And Spring's able to get Kopp back over. And with 10 seconds to go, it is going to be a victory for Andrew Spring out of Westlake High School.
We're going to go over to bout number 126. It's Johnny Spingston going against Drew Shatz from Midview. And Johnny's in control. He's winning, it's the second period, he's winning 8-0.
We're at 100
this would be 126 pounds.
Yep, about 126.
I don't know how we got there so quick, but we did.
We did. So Johnny Spingston, you're right, against Drew Shatz. Thanks, Bob.
This is a 3-ring circus. I mean, you can.
No doubt about it. So Spingston on top, 8-0.
40 seconds to go in the second period. So Johnny, he's an excellent wrestler. 26-9, and he's in control here.
A senior and ahead of Shatz, who's a junior out of Midview with a record of 20-13. Both wrestlers had opening round byes. An awful lot of byes today, Bob, because of 11 teams, an odd number of teams here, and of course everybody doesn't fill every weight class either.
That's right. That's right.
So Spingston out in front as we get close to the end of the second period. 8-0. And that is the end of period number 2 at 126 pounds. And then we're going to have to come back for the 119-pound match.
Yes, I'm trying to find
out.
out.
Xavier Edwards. And
he's up after this, so we'll catch him. Yeah. They're going to be a little out of order, but we'll get him.
That's what we needed tonight, just to get a little out of order.
Well, as they say, Rob, we're off the chain, so totally out of control.
Johnny Spingston 1 period away from advancing to the semifinals. Lorain wrestlers so far 1-1 today. Glad you could join us for Division I Wrestling at Lorain High School. Top 4 finishers, placers from this weekend will advance to district wrestling next weekend. Everybody else, their season is over.
And that district, I believe, is in Ashland at Ashland University.
It is. That'll be next weekend. Spingston out in front 8-0. And Shatz is trying to get Spingston on his back. Close to doing it, Bob.
But Johnny still got that arm hooked in there. This is one of those situations where it looks like the top guy's in control, but he really isn't.
Okay. And Spingston's happy to have the clock go down.
Well, sure.
There's,
You're winning, and the time's running. There he just got the arm slipped out, so now Midview just scored 2.
So Shatz gets 2, but he still trails 8-2. Spingston clearly out in front.
Right.
Spingston on the bottom, up 8-2. 50 seconds to go in the match.
Trying to work that half Nelson in there so you can crank him over. Spingston just kind of,
Spingston doesn't look like he's ready to go over, does he?
No.
I don't think so. Pretty strong guy here at 126.
Well, he's a senior, correct? I think he's a senior.
Yes, sir.
Well, he understands that. Doesn't feel good, but,
Spingston out front, 8-2.
Here he comes. Here he comes. There it is.
He rolls through. Now he's got Shatz on his back and in trouble.
That's a 5-point move right there. That's a senior working.
And there's
and
the
a
pin.
Fall. There you go.
So Spingston will win with a fall.
Outstanding by Johnny Spingston.
So Spingston with a fall advances to tomorrow's semifinals, and that is at 5 minutes and 44 seconds.
And we're going to go right down here, the 119-pound weight class. We've got Xavier Edwards from Lorain, and he's going against, is it?
Looks like Midview from here.
Midview, which would be Vinny Lapico.
Yep.
Okay.
So Edwards and Lapico at 120 pounds.
Right. Lorain High is now 2-1 in matches so far. See if they can keep the 2 going.
Edwards and Lapico close to going off the edge of the mat, and they do. They'll bring them back to the center. And then following this, we will have Antoine Edwards at 132 pounds, wrestling Kyle Biggs out of North Homestead. That should be after that on mat number 2.
Correct. Just so to let folks at home know, every bout is numbered, and they have it on the screen down at the end of the gym, so you know when your match is coming up, but they don't necessarily go on. And if you're broadcasting this, you have to go back and forth. You'll hear the papers shuffle it so we can figure out what's going on.
This is a good match here.
This is.
With Edwards and Lapico. Edwards with the early 2-0 lead here halfway through the first period.
Balance, so much balance.
Edwards a freshman at 26-10. Pico a senior at 28-11.
Yeah.
Those are good records for such a quarterfinal matchup.
Right. And Edwards, for a young kid, he's in trouble, but he's got a cradle on this guy, and he's not letting it go, which is the smart thing. But he's got to get out from underneath. There it is. Look at that. Boy, that's great wrestling. No points involved, but great getting out of trouble.
And Edwards just gets 2 points, so he leads 4-0.
Yeah,
so the freshman over the senior, and he is close to getting Lapico onto his back.
Yes.
Roll through there.
See, and there again, Rob, I think that's because Xavier has wrestled really, really tough competition this year, and that, that makes you better.
That is the end of the first period with Edwards from Lorain at 120 pounds out in front of Lapico of Midview, 4-0. Yeah, it looks like we're going to have, of course, simultaneous wrestling now because at mat number 2, you're going to have a wrestler from Lorain.
And that's going to be Antone Edwards.
Yeah, Antone Edwards out of Lorain against Kyle Biggs of North Homestead. We'll get to that match as soon as we are done with our match on mat number 1 with Edwards from Lorain against Lapico out of Midview. We'll try to keep an eye on both of them for you and update you. This is where wrestling's different than other sports too. You can have, as a head coach,
oh boy,
you got multiple kids wrestling at the same time. It's got to be tough on them, and that's why you've got to have good assistants.
That's exactly correct. You know, I tried to watch 2 matches like this one time, Rob, and my eyes locked.
There's Edwards up high on Lepico. Xavier up 6-0.
Looks like, you know, Xavier's always in some precarious position. He's in control, but he's not giving up points, but he's so close to losing it.
I was going to ask you, it looked like he was in trouble there of Lepico really putting him in a bad spot, but he's able to roll out of it. There he goes again.
Yes.
Just where it looked like Lepico's going to gain the advantage, Edwards has him right where he wants him. I would say it's not the most conventional way of doing it. But.
And you know what? That drives Billy Kopp nuts. Any coach, he's going, what are you doing? And the kid looks, I had him all away.
Right. So Xavier Edwards, the freshman out of Lorain.
There's that cradle again. Don't lose. Oh, see, now you're in deep trouble.
Yep, now he's on his back. There's Lepico.
That's a 5-point move.
And he's got a pinning combination with 15 seconds to go in the match.
Now he's out. Oh, whew.
Wow. But the senior Lepico took advantage of that problem Edwards had. And, you know, we could see that coming for a while, Bob.
Well,
Edwards still leads 7-5.
7-5.
And that's the end of the period. On mat number 2, where we've got 10. Well, shoot over there real quickly. Thanks, Joe. Great job. 10 seconds to go in the period. We are tied at 2. That's Antoine Edwards and Kyle Biggs out of North Olmsted. Edwards from Lorain. And mat number 2, and that's the end of that period.
And Edwards, Rob, just got 2 more points. So now he's, we shouldn't say Edwards. This is Antone is now winning 4-2 as we go back.
Xavier and Antoine Edwards to add to the fusion wrestling at the same time.
So we're back to the 3rd period with Xavier.
Xavier Edwards out in front 7-5 over Vinny Lepico out of Midview. It's been our most entertaining bout so far tonight, Bob, with 1:40 to go in the match. It's anybody's match.
A lot of action.
Lepico got new life with that big 5-point move at the end of the 2nd period.
He's got that half Nelson in there.
He's got to get Edwards on his back, trailing 7-5 with 1:25 to go in the match.
But Xavier working up, trying to get to his feet and get his escape. All right.
This whole quarterfinal round match that we're featuring tonight, the winners go to the semifinals.
Correct.
And basically all but guarantee you a spot in the districts.
If you win your semis, you're going. Yeah.
So everybody who wins this match tonight is in pretty good shape.
Because if you get to the finals, obviously you're either first or second, and the first 4 go. So.
Right. There's Edwards trying to sneak out of it. Can't do so. It's still 7-5 with 1:06 to go in the 3rd period.
Now the big difference in the seeding at the district is the champion 1 gets a 4, 2 gets a 3. So that could mean something down the road. But I've seen coaches tell their kid he's going to forfeit the final match. Don't take a chance.
Now on mat number 2, just to let you know, update you at 132 pounds, Antoine Edwards out of Lorain out in front 10-5 in the 2nd period. But we go back to the feature match, mat number 1. And Edwards gets a 2-point reversal, Bob, and he now leads it 9-5 with 50 seconds to go in the match.
There you go. He's in good shape here. Now just don't
get caught.
Yeah, like you did before.
I mean, I know you want to be aggressive, but the freshman Xavier Edwards wrestling against a veteran, a senior, and Vinny Lepico out of Midview.
See, and I would call this, if Xavier hangs on here to pull this out, I would call this an upset. You know, freshman beating a senior, that doesn't happen very often.
And we have I believe, a stalemate.
Potentially dangerous. Yep.
Okay. So it's 9-6. A penalty point just went to Lepico, and Billy Kopp wants an explanation. Let's go to mat number 2.
Mat number 2's all over, Rob.
Okay,
Edwards
with a pin.
Edwards with a pin. Boy.
So you see him shake hands there. Antoine Edwards, you see him walk off the mat at 132 pounds. He wins with a pin and goes to tomorrow's semis.
That's it. Now we've got 29 seconds to go with Xavier Edwards.
Out in front 9-6. A 3-point lead over Vinny Lepico. Lepico came in at 28-11, Edwards 26-10. Very comparable records. Edwards a freshman, Lepico a senior. 12 seconds to go. Lepico running out of time, trying one more move. 5 seconds. There he gets the escape, and it's 9-8, and that is going to do it.
That's it.
There's 3 zeros on the clock. That's it. And the final score, Xavier Edwards advances by a score of 9-8. So the freshman, you see him shake hands there with Lepico out of midview. He advances to the semifinals. And Lorain so far tonight, Bob, has only lost 1 match.
Correct. Rob, we got some information to give here. I think we're going to have a little bit of a break. According to the board, our next match is in 10 minutes. It could be match number, bout number 136.
Gotcha, with Eli Garcia.
Eli Garcia. So maybe we'll.
You see some of the you see Billy Kopp there talking with his wrestler. And while we've got a second, we want to remind you that Lorain City Schools kindergarten registration, explore the world around. Kindergarten registration for Lorain City Schools, it would be March 5th and 6th from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., March 7th through 9th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. At the Charleston Center, room 33, 2350 Pole Avenue in Lorain at 440-233-2254. You want to visit www.loraineschools.org for more information. We'll take a timeout, and we'll come back with Eli Garcia Wrestling right after this. You're watching high school wrestling on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
Dinner makes a difference. Learn more at CasaFamilyDay.org.
And welcome back as we're set for 138 pounds. But before that, Bob's going to let you know about the Lorain Schools Employees Credit Union.
That's right. Are you employed by or retired from Lorain City Schools? If the answer is yes, then pay close attention to the following following news. Hey, wrestling fans, low interest rates got you pinned to the mat? Reverse that hold and counter the competition with a CD from Lorain School Employees Credit Union. Escape with a higher annual percentage rate and pin down the CD of your choice. Call a credit union at 282-4600. That's 282-4600. Ask for Neil Summers. He's a great guy.
There's Eli Garcia at 138 pounds with a record of 33-1 for the junior. And he looks like he's going to wrestle Tony Nichols out of John Marshall.
I'm thinking that's right.
Or is that a young man from North Olmsted? I can't see that from here, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm seeing some orange, Rob, so I'm thinking it's Sam Matzik.
Out of North Olmsted?
Out of North, yes.
Either way, Garcia has a 2-0 lead.
Garcia doesn't care. He says, just bring him out here.
Well, I'm thinking it over. I'm going, in all the years I've done all kinds of sports, I don't think I've ever seen John Marshall, so I don't know what their colors are. But again, Eli Garcia, 33-1 for the junior.
That says something about Eli.
So Garcia with the 2-1 lead early on here. They both go off to the side of the mat, neither wrestler with any control. 39 seconds into match number 1.
And I'll tell you what, Lorain High on a roll. They are 4-1. And won the last 2 matches. Oh, nice hip there. Oh, boy. Eli is coming.
Yeah, and Eli's got him on his back.
He does.
Eli trying to get to the semifinals early on here.
That's right. North Olmsted in deep trouble here.
And again, that is Samuel Matzik out of North Olmsted. And Samuel Matzik is...
he's done.
He is done. As 1:04 for Garcia to get the fall at 1:04 of the first period. That will put Eli Garcia, as you see him raise his hands from the official, and he will wrestle tomorrow in the semifinals. Eli Garcia, the outstanding junior with a record of 34-1, and Lorain still has only lost 1 match, Bob.
That's right. They're 5-1 right now, and the next guy up is on
Mat 2,
and it's going to be in a few minutes, so we'll probably take a break and come back right after these messages on TV 20.
Each year, thousands of people come to visit the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. Many reach out and touch the wall to feel some of the 58,000 names that are etched in black stone. But they were more than names. They were brothers, sons, husbands, and friends. People whose lives had meaning and whose stories deserved to be told. Memories like these are the heart of the Education Center at the Wall. Help us keep these stories alive to honor and remember those who served. The Education Center at the Wall will preserve the images, letters, and stories of those who served so that their lives will never be forgotten. Call or click now and help us build it.
And welcome back. We're at 145 pounds. Demetrius Harris, a senior, 26-12. He'll have his hands full against Marcus Sneedle, a junior out of St. Ed's at 23-8. Well, he won his first round match, so 24-8. And immediately Sneedle gets the two-point takedown, and he lifts Harris in the air by the edge of the mat, and they'll go out of bounds. So Demetrius Harris got here with a bye. Sneedle defeated Jason Barnacle, a freshman out of Avon Lake.
Harris is a 26-12 senior. Been a pretty good wrestler for the Titans.
Sneedle won this last year at 125 pounds.
Yeah, he's a junior, 23-8 or 24-8, you said?
Yeah. So Harris locked up, trailing 2-1, 35 seconds into the match. Close to going out of bounds. Right in front of the scorer's table there. You see him keep an eye on wrestlers and keeping them safe away from that scorer's table. So early on, it's 2-1. Sneedle from St. Ed's over Harris of Lorain. Harris in the Grace singlet, and the St. Ed's wrestler, I guess that would be a gold color.
I'm thinking, huh? Maybe old gold or
maybe
faded gold?
Faded. Harris shooting in,
nice.
Gets the leg.
Nice job there. Got to finish.
Sneedle countering, though. Harris shot in, had the leg, and Sneedle counters and gets the two-point takedown,
yes.
So it's 4-1. As we're down to 45 seconds to go in the first period, and neither wrestler right now doing a whole heck of a lot. You see Harris on your television screen right there as he is having a headgear problem, and they stop the wrestling action. For a stalemate, they'll bring him back to the center of the mat. 37 seconds to go in the first period. Demetrius Harris out of Lorain trailing 4-1 from Marcus Sneedle at 145 pounds. This is the quarterfinal round of the Division I wrestling sectional from Lorain High School. Rob Polinsky, Bob Tomaszewski commentating tonight, and doing the camera work and directing us once again is Joe Bach. I don't think Joe ever leaves here.
No, I think he's got a grubby little cot with an air mattress that he's got tire patches on it because it's so old. Spends a lot of time here. Hardest working man in show business,
absolutely. Rob. Sneedle and Harris at the center of the mat, trying to get Harris on his back. Harris trying to get to his base, trying to get an escape and make it 4-2. 15 seconds to go in the first period.
Joe Bach also big on geography of Lorain County.
He is.
He can tell you where one town stops and another starts.
He's very, very good.
He's knowledgeable.
Sneedle trying to get Harris over. Harris trying to ride out the period, and that is the end of the first period. Sneedle from St. Ed's out in front 4-1 over Demetrius Harris out of Lorain at 145 pounds.
Now again, just because you lose one match doesn't put you out of the tournament. It's a double elimination tournament, and the loser of this will go down into the quarterfinals and gets a bye into the consolation round. So
tomorrow, yep. So Harris gets a penalty point, and it's 4-2. So Harris gets a point. 4-2, gets the escape. Now it's 4-3. I'm sorry, 5-2. Sneedle got the escape. My bad. St. Ed's wrestler out in front, 5-2 over Demetrius Harris from Lorain. As there's a 2-point takedown for Sneedle, makes it 7-2. Bob, since St. Ed's has been so dominant in this sport for so long, no matter what the kid is and what weight class, if you're wrestling from another school, is there a psychological advantage? I mean,
I think that's part. The kids are kids, and if you put him in somebody else's uniform, you say, well, he's just another kid, but he's from St. Ed's. And don't get me wrong, they're good. They're very good. I mean, it is an all-star team from Lorain County and surrounding areas, but they are coached well. They're good. They're in good shape. You can see the difference. Demetrius, he's a good athlete.
Right.
And the kid from St. Ed's he's bigger. You can see he's looks stronger, and that's the way it is.
Under a minute to go in the second period, Sneedle from St. Ed's out in front 7-2 over Demetrius Harris, but Harris doing his best here and trying to they go out of bounds. They'll bring him back to the center of the mat with 44 seconds to go in the second period. And Harris not out of this match by any means. If he can get a move, Bob. We've seen some 5-point moves earlier today.
Oh, yeah. And especially here, off the takedown, you get a takedown and put a guy in his back real quick. Stranger things have happened. So
there's the escape point, makes it 7-3 as Sneedle leads him up. So Harris trails by 4. 32 seconds to go in the second period. They are wrestling at 145 pounds. Both Harris got here by a bye. Sneedle defeated Barnacle of Avon Lake in the opening round. They're dangerously close to going out of bounds with 15 seconds to go in the period, and there they are out of bounds. Score remains 7-3. Sneedle out in front of Harris.
Just a quick replay. Lorain Titans are 5-1 in individual matches up until this point.
It's a very good start for the Titans in this round.
Super start.
And there's a 2-point takedown for Sneedle, and he'll lead 9-3 as we get set for the third period. And again, the goal for everybody is to get in the top 4, because then your season does not end. You go to Ashland next week,
that's right,
and then you have that opportunity to get to the state tournament.
That's correct.
So 9-3 as we begin the third period, and Demetrius Harris from Lorain will be on top.
And to be truthful, if you can get to the state tournament from the northeast part of the state, north central, northeast, you have an advantage, because this is a hotbed of wrestling, as everybody knows, and the teams up here are generally a little bit better. This is where a lot of state champs come out of here. So, just get me there, as they say. Get me there and let me see what I can do.
Sneedle with the escape makes it 10-3. Obviously, Bob, once you determine what weight class you are at the beginning of the sectionals, that's what you are all the way through. Having said that, with the different, the Northeast Ohio is so good, how much gamemanship goes on with coaches jockeying kids around, and maybe they think 32 is loaded, so I'm going to put this kid at 38 or 25 or whatever.
The thing is, the last couple of 3 years, the state has put in this weight control program, because that's always a concern, and rightfully so. So before the season even starts, every wrestler has to take a urine test.
Really?
And then just before you make weight, you take another one, and they can determine how much you're,
Really?
Yep. That's correct. It's the only sport I know where there is a test that you have to take. And whatever it is that determines how much weight, how much sweat and salt and all that stuff in your body, then you're told basically what weight you're going to wrestle.
Okay.
So, and once you're there, you're there. You can go up, but you cannot go down.
45 seconds to go in the match. Sneedle out in front 10-3, and he'll get another 2-point takedown there. It gives him a 12-3 advantage over Demetrius Harris.
So the thing that really makes it tough, before the season starts, like maybe 6 weeks before, if you're planning on going for a certain weight class, you better slowly work your way down, and then that's where you can be. You can't lose a lot of weight. They only allow you to lose, I think it's 2 pounds a week, something like that. So it's very well controlled right now.
Where for years, there were years that
it was whatever the kid weighed, he weighed, you know. And he could have been 150 on Monday, and he's wrestling at 138 on Friday. That's never good.
Right. Demetrius Harris on the bottom, trailing 12-3 over Marcus Sneedle of St. Ed's. As we have 10 seconds to go in the match, Harris doing his best here tonight, but up against a tough customer, the defending champion at 125 pounds. This year he moved up to 145, and that is going to do it, as Harris will fall to Sneedle 12-3, and that will put Harris in the consolation round tomorrow, as he gets a bye into the consolation round tomorrow.
Okay.
If I'm reading this correctly.
I think you are, sir.
So you see Billy Kopp talking with Demetrius Harris right there as they talk about that match. Our next match that we'll have will be on mat number 3, and that is going to be at 170 pounds. And
maybe we got a little reminder here. Yeah. Lorain City Schools kindergarten registration. They got some rules here. Parents, guardian, please bring the following: a birth certificate, complete shot record, child's social security number, custody, divorce papers if applicable or whatever, and proof of residence that's current within the past 2 months. A utility bill, purchase or lease agreement, or some payroll stub, some such thing. So that registration is coming up. So you want to get that done 5 years of age by September 30th. That's on March 5th and 6th, 7th and 9th, 8 to 7 p.m., and on 7 and 9, it's 8 to 4 o'clock. Charleston Center, room 33. If you got any questions, just call over there, and it's 233-2254, or go online at www.loraineschools.org.
As I look to see what our matches will be coming up, I want to remind you that coming up is you get a look at the crowd here at Lorain High School for the sectionals. Coming up at 170 pounds on mat number 3, it'll be John Finley of Lorain with a record of 25-9. The senior will be wrestling Logan Ballard from Olmsted Falls. The sophomore has a record of 3-4. That will be coming up on mat number 3. And then coming up later on tonight on mat number 3 at 182 pounds, it'll be Alec Medina out of Lorain at 27-6. And the senior is going to wrestle Phil Hicks, a junior out of North Ridgeville, with a record of 11-16. At 195 pounds later on, Cedric Payton from Lorain. He will wrestle on, they don't have that on the board yet, but he'll wrestle Mustafa Al-Najir out of North Olmsted. That's at 195 pounds. So those are some of the matches that we'll have coming up later. Also later on tonight at 220 pounds, it will be Deshante Davis out of Lorain, a senior at 19-7, against Jordan Lee from Olmsted Falls. And then finally at 285 pounds, Devin Hill from Lorain, the senior at 29-12. He'll wrestle Aaron Bridge out of Olmsted Falls, who has a record of 2-8. That's all coming up this evening as we are awaiting a match on mat number 3. Why don't we take a timeout, and we'll come back. When we come back, we'll have John Finley from Lorain at 170 pounds. You're watching Sectional Wrestling on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
McGruff the crime dog here. We've all heard of identity theft. Now I'm going to show you how those thieves do it. Watch. He's secretly photographing her credit card with his cell phone. Now watch. They pretend they have a package to deliver, and while they're trying to fit it in the mailbox, they're taking her credit card payments and other paid bills. To learn how to protect yourself from identity theft, go to weprevent.org. Keep your identity to yourself and help take a bite out of crime.
Hi, I'm Tinsel Corey from the Twilight Saga. Want to play? If you had a tough day, try playing music. It's a great way to wind down, relieve stress, and bring a smile back to your face. Not to mention, it's a lot of fun. Learn how to get started at wannaplaymusic.com.
And welcome back. 152 pounds, John Finley out of Lorain against Logan Ballard from Olmsted Falls. Finley at 25-9, Ballard at 3-4. 170 pounds, we're underway. Mat number 3.
Finley is senior, 25-9. And himself a pretty good year, pretty good career.
Finley in the gray singlet, and that's Ballard right in front of you with the OF, which stands for Olmsted Falls, obviously, in the blue and gold. Bob, that's one of your buddies there reffing on mat number 3. He kind of acknowledged you there, asked if we were ready to go.
Yes, well,
that
it's
was nice of him.
Yes. Nice fireman's carry. Oh, beautiful. Popped ahead. There's 2 points. And very nice take.
Finley gets a 2-0 lead, and right away he's going to let him up 2-1. Lets him up for the escape, so Finley on his feet. Wants to immediately go for another takedown, Bob.
Yes, indeed. When you get that first one like that, you're feeling pretty froggy, you know.
Does that mean like you're feeling good?
Well, you're going to jump on him. You know, jump on him.
Sometimes I need explanations with the
it's like when they said,
material. I get it now.
Well, it was like when they say, you know, I'm your driver and I'm going to educate you.
Yes.
Because I'm taking you to school.
I got you. A minute into the first period, Finley leads at 2-1. And Bob, I know this family name goes back a long way in Lorain wrestling.
There's been some Finleys that have wrestled here. Yes, indeedy.
John, the latest one at 170 pounds. As the Titans have had a very good day, and again in the opening round, they had all buys. They did not have a wrestler in the opening round, and in this round so far, only 2 losses.
Look at this,
and we're at 170 pounds.
Nice. Just grab that leg right to his back. Now if he can settle in, get some points.
Got that single leg, got him down, and trying to get him on his back for points, as Bob just told you.
You're right, Rob. All the even the couple of guys that lost, they're still in the tournament. They're not out of it yet, so we'll see what happens tomorrow.
So far, all the Titans still alive to try to make it to the district tournament.
And we will be back tomorrow with the finals.
We approach the end of the first period. Finley out in front 4-1, and there is the end of period number 1. They'll come back to the center of the mat for the period number 2. 170 pounds, Logan Ballard, a sophomore out of Olmsted Falls, against senior John Finley from Lorain, who's hoping to get to the state tournament in his senior season. And Bob, whether you win it, whether you come in last place in Columbus, no matter what, I mean, you can always say you made it to the state tournament. They can never take it away from you.
That's right.
And that's the goal of everybody that starts as a bitty wrestler all the way through.
You know, sometimes just making a trip. There's a lot of guys that don't make the trip.
Oh, that's for sure.
You know, and we talk about that in football all the time. We're doing those playoff games, you know. A team, they lose, oh, man, I was in the quarterfinals and lost. Said, you know what? There's like 300 other schools that would love to be where you are.
But again, everybody that's here today is hoping in 2 weeks that they'll be at Valley City Arena. And obviously that doesn't happen, but it's just such a special event down there.
It is. It's and you know what? Ohio, for all its problems, they do a pretty doggone. I mean, some things could be better or not, but in general, the OHSAA does a pretty doggone good job for all the things that they have to do, all the sports. Pretty classy.
It's a great, if you've never been there, everybody should do that once. Finley leads 6-1. He lets Ballard up, makes it 6-2 with 1:10 to go in the second period. I know for me, I had the opportunity to cover it when it was at Wright State University, and it just blew my mind how that tournament ran down there, and that was probably almost 20 years ago.
And now in the new, even bigger gym that they have, they elevate all those mats. They're up about 3-4 feet. I mean, it's just, lights are all out, except it's just a spectacular thing.
Finley out in front 8-2. Looks like he's got Ballard in real trouble, and there is the pin. At 41 seconds of the second period, that's a fall at 3:19 for John Finley. So Finley gets the fall at 3:19, and that puts Finley into the state semifinals, the sectional semifinals tomorrow, where he is going to be wrestling tomorrow in the semifinals. You get a look at John Finley right there. Again, at 170 pounds, very, very impressive. And up next, we'll have Alec Medina at 182 pounds, but that is one match away, so we will take a timeout. And when we come back, it'll be Alec Medina from Lorain against Phil Hicks of North Ridgeville at 182 pounds, the quarterfinals of the sectional wrestling. You're watching Sectional Wrestling on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
I believe that home is where your pet is. That loving an animal means never giving up on them, never letting them go.
I believe that when you adopt an animal from a shelter, you're saving not only one, but many lives.
And that when you spay or neuter your dogs and cats, you help decrease the number of homeless animals.
That it's time we do all we can to save the lives of homeless animals who are counting on us, because every dog and cat deserves a place to call home.
I believe that I found my best friend in a shelter, and that you can too.
We believe that together with Best Friends Animal Society,
we can bring about a time when there are no more homeless pets.
please visit our website at ambassadors.bestfriends.org to find out more.
And welcome back, 182 pounds. Alec Medina out of Lorain against Phil Hicks of North Ridgeville on mat number 3. As they get started at 182 pounds, Bob. Medina, a senior at 27-6. Hicks, a junior at 11-16.
So you'd like to think that Alec has a chance in this match.
And
Alec, a pretty good kid, pretty physical.
And wouldn't you know it, we've got 2 Lorain kids at once. So over on mat number 1, we've got Cedric Payton at 195 pounds that are a record of 28-5, and we'll try to get some of Cedric's match as well.
Alec, right takedown right to the back. This could be quick.
Yeah, come on, Alec, do us a favor so we can watch Cedric too. 40 seconds into it.
And while we're waiting for the fall, that official, his name is Don Way. This is his second to last event. 51 years as an official, Rob.
Wow, and
Don
there's
Way.
the pin at 49 seconds for Medina. So Medina, with the pin, goes to the semifinals, and you'll see him shake hands, and that's quite an accomplishment by that referee, 51 years. And
yeah.
Now let's switch over to mat number 1, and you've got Cedric Payton out of Lorain wrestling against Mustafa Al-Najir out of North Olmsted. Both wrestlers on their feet. No score, Bob, and we're 40 seconds into it. So Medina did us a real favor there.
Alec, thank you. And Coach Kopp thanks you too.
Wanted to try to get to show you everybody, but
Alec, really, just to go backward up. Here it is again. Same kind of move.
Cedric Payton just throws Mustafa on his back.
Cedric's doing the same thing that Alec did. Right to the back, and I'm telling you, that's a lot of weight, 190. There it is.
There's a pin, and 106 for Cedric Payton.
Hard to bench press 195 pounds off your chest and keep your back off the mat.
So Payton advances to the semifinal. So 2 really quick matches there as you get a look at Cedric Payton as he shakes the North Olmsted coach's hands.
Man.
Cedric will go to the semifinals tomorrow. You can get a look at that young man right there.
That's a big look at him. That guy is put together, buddy.
Impressive. And
very impressive.
Medina got a fall at 49 seconds. So the wrestlers at 192 and 182 and 195, very, very good.
Well, plus, do you think they wrestle against each other in practice? Of course they do. That if you got one good one, the other one's going to be pretty good. Your partners, you make each other better.
And so now we have quite a weight again for our next match, which will be at 220 pounds. It'll come on mat number 2. Well, are they switching it on us?
They might.
Looks like they're making a move. They're going to switch over to mat number 1 will be Deshante Davis and Jordan Lee, but I think we're still a little bit a ways away. But while they do that, why don't I just take a second to let you know, if you're watching this before February 27th, we want to remind you that Lorain High School is having a post-secondary enrollment option. PSEO information night on Monday, February 27th, 2012. It's at 6:30 in a cafeteria. So again, you got to be seeing this before February 27th, obviously. Parents and students, you're invited to attend this mandatory PSEO event. The guest speaker will be Rochelle Appis of Lorain County Community College Marketing and Recruiting Specialist. The event will discuss, as you look at the scores table over there, it takes a lot of people to put these tournaments on. The event will discuss how to get a head start on college, how to get free college credit while you're still in high school, the possibility of earning an associate degree at Lorain High School. Take courses that are going to be guaranteed to transfer to Ohio's public universities, and how to save some money on college expenses. And who wouldn't be interested in that, Bob?
That's right. And, Rob, I got to tell you, Lorain Community College, one of the best-kept secrets in Northeast Ohio, an excellent institution.
Yeah, it really, really is, as we are awaiting Deshante Davis, who will be wrestling next on mat number 1. And while we wait that, we will take another timeout. When we come back, at 220 pounds, it'll be Deshante Davis at 19-7 from Lorain against Jordan Lee, a sophomore out of Olmsted Falls. Boy, his record 26-9. This should be an outstanding bout. We'll have it for you next. 220 pounds right after this timeout on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
We're asking folks about marriage.
You know, marriage makes me think of sports. You know, teamwork, dedication.
Okay, let's see what people say.
Let's say your marriage is a sport. What sport would it be?
Basketball. Surfing.
They have to be a team sport.
A lot of back and forth.
A lot of people watching.
So how many people are influenced by your marriage?
Hundreds.
You really think about the ripple effect.
It's like a wave.
Want to improve your marriage? For ideas, go to foryourmarriage.org. A message from the Catholic Church.
Hey, guys.
The strongest families are built one moment at a time. For more ways to make every day count, visit facebook.com/makeeverydaycount.
And welcome back as we get set to wrestle at 220 pounds. Deshante Davis out of Lorain at 19-7 against Jordan Lee from Olmsted Falls, 26-9. Lee, a sophomore, and Bob Davis is a senior. And boy, this looks like potentially this could be a good match.
Yes. These are big guys, too. You're talking about 220-some pounds. I mean, that's a lot of meat and no potatoes.
Davis and Lee in the center of the mat. Mat number 1 here at Lorain High School. Lee with a single leg lock.
Yep.
Yeah, but he's on his back.
See, that's the problem. These guys are so big that if you make a little mistake, you're gone.
Davis rolls through and gets the two-point takedown and leads 4-0.
There you go.
30 seconds into the match. It looked like Lee was going to have Davis taken down.
And you get a lot of roll-throughs and that momentum swings back and forth. Now, of course, Rob, we're going to have another match start. The heavyweight match is going to start over on mat 1. We'll be going back and forth, and that's Devon Hill going against Aaron Bridge.
Yeah, another Lorain Olmsted Falls matchup. Hill at 29-12, Bridge at 2-8. So we'll try
I'm thinking Devon's got a guy that's only wrestled 10 times. So,
well, they are talking it over here, the officials.
If we see something good happening for Devon, we'll swing over and catch that.
And they're going to go to their feet, 4-1, the lead for Davis over Jordan Lee. And over on mat 3, they get underway with the match at the heavyweights with Hill and Bridge. Again, 2 Lorain Olmsted Falls matchups here to conclude this quarterfinal round of wrestling here tonight from Lorain.
And again, Olmsted Falls, one of the better teams in the Southwest Conference. Very tough.
Davis and Lee locking horns here. Neither one can get the advantage right now. And there's Lee getting Davis on his back. Davis in trouble towards the end of the first period. Davis was leading 4-1, but Lee got him on his back and is going to get some back points, Bob.
Yes.
And over on mat 3, quickly with a 2-0 lead, is going to be the heavyweight out of Lorain, Devon Hill. So 5-4 with that move. Lee has taken the lead over Deshante Davis with 37 seconds to go in the first period. So Lee out front 5-4 on top. Deshante Davis trying to get up, get a 1-point escape, and tie this match. Lee won't let him up.
Lee looking for a cradle. He's got him curled up, trying to put him on his back. Easier said than done.
Two guys really getting after one another with 20 seconds to go in the first period. And there's a stalemate. They'll bring him back to the center of the match with 19 seconds.
Quickly, we've got
Devon Hill out in front.
Hill.
And there's...
He got it.
You get the pin?
He got the pin.
Devon Hill over Aaron Bridge, 44 seconds of the first period. So that was at 1:16. Devon Hill advances to the semifinals tomorrow. He'll wrestle Nick Bailey out of North Ridgeville.
Nice job. All right, back to Deshante Davis.
As we get towards the end of the first period, Bob, he trails 5-4. 2 seconds to go in the first period. And that will do it with the score 5-4. Jordan Lee ahead of Deshante Davis at 220 pounds. This is the quarterfinal round. The winner of this goes to the semis.
I'm thinking Lee is going to have to go to a different attack. Is he just, Deshante is just too big to literally pick him up and put him on his back. That's pretty hard to do.
So far through this quarterfinal round, I believe just 2 Lorain wrestlers have lost. We'll go back through and make sure we have that correct. But so far, I believe just 2 wrestlers lost. So a very good quarterfinal round for the Lorain Titans. Billy Kopp has to be pleased with what he's seen tonight.
Absolutely.
Deshante Davis and Lee lets him up, and that makes it 6-4 as Lee gets the escape point. Billy, you see Billy Kopp over there with one of his assistant coaches looking on. As Davis and Lee roll around. And now they go out of bounds. And right back to the center of the mat, Jordan Lee, a sophomore on Olmsted Falls. That's a big sophomore, Coach.
That is.
I wonder if he is playing football for...
I'm thinking Coach Ryan has talked to that young man.
Well, so often you see football players wrestle and vice versa. It's such a natural fit between the two sports.
The toughness, the foot speed, foot agility, all those kinds of things. But Lee is that kind of guy. Oh, there we go.
Deshante Davis trying to...
Going with that hug. Ooh. Or the old rib crusher.
56 seconds to go in the second period. Lee's out in front 6-4. Davis went for a leg shot, didn't get it. Now both wrestlers back to their feet. What can Davis do here, Bob, as he...
Right there. Now come around.
Well, he gets countered.
Yep.
Trying to come around and get that 2-point reversal, but Lee countered, and there's the stalemate. I thought for a minute Davis was going to get around him.
Yep.
Lee cut him off. Is this the only match going on right now? 3 matches at once, 3 mats. But we're down to the final match of the night in the quarterfinal round with Deshante Davis out of Lorain and Jordan Lee, Olmsted Falls. Davis is senior, Lee a sophomore. 25 seconds to go in the second period, and Lee leads at 6-4.
Lee is kind of a compact guy in a low stance. Hard to get under him. And again, just common sense tells you don't want to get down there too low and have him put all his weight on you.
So there's 10 seconds to go in the second period. Davis took a 4-0 lead, but since there, Jordan Lee has rattled off 6 straight points to take a 6-4 advantage, and now we're going to head to the final period to determine who gets to the semifinals at 220 pounds. Deshante Davis out of Lorain, Jordan Lee out of Olmsted Falls. This looks like it could be one of the better matches of the night.
Oh, for sure.
Davis has 2 minutes. He's down 2 and he knows it.
He's had a couple of openings there and he didn't pull the trigger. The idea is to set your man up, make him do something that you'll know he's, he raises his head or something, and then you're in underneath. But
now Davis has been more aggressive. Lee hasn't done a whole lot lately.
No, he hasn't.
Would you expect right there he hears me and shoots the leg.
Exactly.
I was wondering if maybe we could see a stalling warning, but obviously right there's the leg shot. Neither wrestler with an advantage.
Deshante, he's got that crossface, but he's got to get around, and he's got 2 hands locked. You got to stop this and start again.
And they will. They'll bring him to the center of the mat.
And the worst thing that Deshante can do is just let that clock beat away. You have to keep making attempts, and because you're not going to take him down if he's got both his hands locked around your leg.
Minute 17 to go in this match, and Jordan Lee has a 6-4 lead over Deshante Davis, and it looks like somebody is getting an injury timeout, and I believe it's Lee from Olmsted Falls. As you look at Billy Kopp and one of his assistants talking things over there with Deshante, giving him some strategy here.
Yeah, you just got to go do it. Sometimes, strategy's good, but, grab him and take him.
Go do it is another.
That's a really good strategy.
Well, I was kind of using a fancy term for go get it.
Yeah, you're right on that.
So Davis and Lee, the center of the mat, and now we are down to 1 minute to go in this match.
And see, Lee snuck a look at the clock. That's always a sign that maybe I'm getting a little tired.
6-4. Davis trails by 2, but he still has plenty of time. 50 seconds to go in the match. Davis. Lee and Davis just locked up here, and there's Lee with the takedown, and now Davis in real trouble. And there's a pin at 36 seconds to go of the third period. Davis got caught in a move, down a couple of points, Bob, and he falls victim.
Yep. But he's not out. He'll come back tomorrow, see what happens.
So he will be in the consolation round tomorrow morning, we believe. And you see the wrestlers shaking hands with the coaches as Davis will leave, having been pinned by Jordan Lee out of Olmsted Falls.
Bulldog country.
And we're going to take a timeout, and then we will wrap up. We'll let you know what happened in the consolations. We'll go through all the wrestlers from Lorain, let you know how they did, and tell you about tomorrow, as Bob will be back for the finals of tomorrow at 5:30 p.m., and we'll wrap things up from Lorain right after this timeout. You're watching Sectional Wrestling on WLCS TV 20, home of Lorain City Schools Television.
Oh my gosh, did you hear about Brendan and Ashley?
No, what happened?
They're dating.
Really? I thought he was dating Hannah.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, did you hear about Brendan and Ashley?
No, what happened?
Sarah?
And welcome back to Lorain High School. Rob Polinsky joined by Bob Tomaszewski as we have finished the quarterfinal round of wrestling from Lorain, the Division I sectional from Lorain High School. And a very good night, Bob, for the Lorain Titans. 14 weight classes. The Titans had 12 gentlemen wrestling tonight. In those 12 matches, they went 9-3, so they have 9 men wrestling in the semifinals on Saturday.
That's right, and all of them, though, are still alive.
Right.
There's a chance to wrestle back. So if they could each win a match or two tomorrow, hey, they're all going to the district, and that's the goal, get to the next tournament.
Sure, you get as many involved as you can,
That's
and
right.
with 9 in the semifinals, you would have to a feeling that there are going to be several Titans that will be wrestling in Ashland next weekend.
That's correct.
And let's look
You've
at
got a rundown, right?
Let's look at the individual matches tonight, and then Bob will run through the team points after night one of the sectionals at Lorain High School. At 106 pounds, it started with Dominic Diaz out of Lorain with a technical fall, 16-0 over Alec Koff from Midview. At 113 pounds, the Lorain Titans suffered their first loss. It was Andrew Spring of Westlake defeating Michael Kopp by a score of 8-2. At 120 pounds, in a very exciting match, one of the best matches of the night, Xavier Edwards with Lorain with a 9-8 win over Vinny Lupica out of Midview High School. That was at 120 pounds, and what a match that was. At 126 pounds, another good match. Johnny Spingston gets the fall at 5:44, so just 16 seconds remaining in that match over Drew Shatz out of Midview. At 132 pounds, another win for Lorain. Antoine Edwards with a fall at 3:59 over Kyle Biggs out of North Olmsted. At 138 pounds, Eli Garcia, his outstanding year continues. He goes to 34-1. The junior with a fall at 1:04 over Samuel Matzik out of North Olmsted. At 145 pounds, Demetrius Harris from Lorain. He had a wrestler out of St. Ed's. That was the only Lorain-St. Ed's matchup that we saw tonight. And for Harris, he wrestled valiantly, but he lost to Marcus Sneedle by a score of 12-3. So Harris will try to come back Saturday through the consolation bracket. At 170 pounds, we saw several Lorain matches versus Olmsted Falls wrestlers in the heavier weights. One of those was John Finley with a fall from Lorain at 3:19 over Logan Ballard out of Olmsted Falls. At 182 pounds, Alec Medina very quickly disposed of Phil Hicks of North Ridgeville at 49 seconds.
Alec did a heck of a job in that match. It was just like, come here, let me get this over with.
Right, and he did us a favor because we had two Lorain kids wrestling at once, and Alec knew that. We kid. So Alec got us set to show you Cedric Payton from Lorain. Cedric at 195 pounds defeated Mustafa Al-Najir out of North Olmsted with a fall at 106. At 220 pounds, this was a very good match. Deshante Davis from Lorain took an early 2-0 lead. Then Jordan Lee came back from Olmsted Falls, and the sophomore out of Olmsted Falls got the fall at the 5-minute and 20-second mark of the match. And then our final match of the evening at 285 pounds, a fall for Devin Hill from Lorain at 116 over Aaron Bridge from Olmsted Falls. So again, the Titans go 9-3, and Bob, that's why they have done so well in the team points.
That's right. As you can imagine, we didn't see a lot of St. Edwards, but I'm sure they had a lot of buys, and they buzzed through their first-round matches too. But leading the tournament after for the first 2 rounds, St. Edwards at 114 points, Lorain right behind, but only 70.5 points, followed by Old Falls, 69.5 points, and rounding out the top 4 is North Olmsted at 40 points. The rest of the field, Avon, 34 points, Midview, 31, North Ridgeville, 28.5, Lakewood, 27.5, Avon Lake, 27, Westlake, 17, and John Marshall got shut out. They didn't have any winners at all. So there you have it. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be head-to-head. I don't think Lorain can come back and win it. There's too much of a lead. But they could do show a really good second day. It's 114 for St. Ed's, 70 for Lorain. It's going to be interesting. There's going to be some head-to-head Lorain High St. Ed's matches.
And Bob, really, I would think the goal for a team, for the Titans have 2 goals. As a team, to finish in second place in the team standings behind St. Ed's, and individually, obviously, get as many wrestlers as they can to Ashland University next weekend for the districts, and then that chance to go to Ohio State to wrestle in the state tournament.
That's true. And I think with this lineup, like we said earlier, 2 really tough teams, Amherst and Elyria, are not here anymore. So with this lineup, Lorain has a shot if guys can come through and wrestle really well. They could get all those kids out. I mean, it'd be a heck of a thing if they could, but it is not beyond the realm of possibility.
And we want to remind our viewers to stay tuned as later on you will see the finals. Bob Tomaszewski will be back for you Saturday night, the finals at 5:30, along with our videographer and doing a great job directing, once again, Joe Bach. But that's going to wrap things up from the Division I quarterfinals at Lorain High School after day 1. Again, the Titans go 9-3 individually. They're second place in the team standings. For Joe Bach and Bob Tomaszewski, this is Rob Polinsky saying, have a good night, everybody.
This has been a production of Lorain City Schools, TV 20 WLCS.
To purchase a high-quality copy of the program you just viewed, please call Lorain City Schools Television at 282-8400.